Hey friends, I'm coming to you from my office, and it's Holy Week. Today is a day we call Maundy Thursday. It's a day that we remember the Lord's Supper. And remember that story, how Jesus gathered with his disciples at the upper room, and they remembered the Passover meal. They remembered that the Israelites were freed from Egypt, from that slavery by the Egyptians, and how they were led to the Promised Land. Jesus and the disciples celebrated that meal in the upper room, and it was really a glorious event. But on that night, some 2,000 years ago, Jesus did something different. He instituted what we know today as Holy Communion, that he foreshadowed his own death and resurrection, and that he transformed that meal. Friends, today is typically that day that we celebrate that we gather together around a meal, that we share in the Lord's Supper, but we can't do that today. Whenever I think of Holy Communion, I'm drawn to a chalice, a cup that my dad made for me. This is a cup that was created out of the fence behind our house growing up. My dad took the boards and he pressed them together, he glued them, and then out of that he carved this cup. It's a great gift, and many times that we have taken the Lord's Supper out of this. As we can't take that today, it's hard. It's different. It's a different season. We all know that. But I think we can still live into that other part of this day, Maundy Thursday. Maundy is a word that means mandate, that Jesus mandates us to love one another. And he set that example for us at the Lord's Supper. That Jesus, God on earth, that he stoops down low, and as he stoops down low, he takes out a cloth and he washes his disciples' feet. We always have to remember that these are not 21st century feet. These are first century feet that were sandal laden and that were walking on dusty roads. These were disgusting feet. And Jesus stooped down low and he took on that role of a servant and he washed them. After he did that, we read this out of John 13. When he, Jesus, had finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and returned to his place. "Do you understand what I have done for you?" he asked them. "You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you." As I think about that passage, Jesus tells us that we are to go out and be feet washers. Now, I don't think it's literal. I don't think we have to go around washing other people's feet. But what we're called to do is to go out and to serve and love people. When I think of this chalice, I think of obviously Holy Communion, but I also think about the love poured out from my Father to me and how he made that. That this cup has become one of my most prized possessions because of that kind of love. That love given to me from my dad. And that as these next few days look very, very different, as we can't take communion tonight, as we can't gather for a Good Friday service, as we can't get together for Easter, I still think that we can live in fully to that mandate from Jesus, to love each other. And so I invite you over these next few days to extend yourself, to go above and beyond, to sacrificially love somebody in some way. Maybe it's a generous gift, maybe it's caring for a neighbor, maybe it's just going above and beyond for your spouse or kids, whatever it might be creative. But we can still live into that calling from Jesus to love each other in the midst of these unique times. As Christians, we are known by our love. We are known by our love. Let us live that out well over these next few days. Take care, friends.